Hello and welcome to another episode of I Just Want My Toys. I'm your host, Terry J. And today we're going to be looking at more toys from the 2022 The Batman movie. And today we're going to be looking at a new order of toys I just got in from Target for the Batman movie. Let's see what we got, shall we? These should be the McFarlane 7-inch Batman toys. So let's take a look and see what we've got here. Okay. In our first box, we have the Riddler. And we have Catwoman. Over to camera 2. And finally, last but not least, we have the Batman himself. All right. Of course, Target order receipt. Okay, and then in our sack, a single purchase, because it wasn't available when I ordered the figures to begin with, the Penguin. So there you have it, all 4 figures in McFarlane Batman line. And last, let us see what we have here. We have the Bat Cycle. That is pretty freaking cool. The camera 2. And there you go. All right. And interesting enough, all 4 cards are on the back. The Penguin, the Catwoman, the Riddler, and the Batman. All right. Let's take a look at each of these figures, shall we? Target tag there on the bottom. All right. Let's start with the bad guys. Let's start with the Penguin. All right. So here we have the Penguin figure. On the back, photograph art of the prototype. Over here to camera 2. Get a nice clean shot of that. All right. Now let's give this a little look-see, shall we? We'll just slit here at the top. And slit here on the side. And slit here on the side. Okay, so inside we have our figure stand and our trading card of the actual back prototype art. Inside here, we have the actual figure. Give it a shot. Okay. So, the Penguin figure does not come with any accessories, with the exception of just 2 hands for interchanging purposes. A pointing 2-finger like a gun hand, and a fist. And we can see that there on camera 2, much better. Now on to the figure himself. So let's see what we got. Arm was a little stiff in there, so we'll bring it back. All right, very nice detailing in the coat. Coat is one solid rubbery plastic piece, and the suit coat is molded into it as well. So if you were going to take off the coat, you'd have to take it off by splitting it. There's no way to open it up and remove it because it's all joined together, which made me wonder, how do they get this on the figure like that? But yeah, so if you wanted to display them without the coat, you definitely would have to pop the arms out to remove the coat. Okay, articulation, let's go. So we've got hips. We have, yep, we do have a knee. It's a little tight there. Wow. So mostly on a rocker. There is some bend back there, but it is very stiff. These McFarlane figures are pretty stiff when it comes to trying to get them to bend back. So, but normally that would be 2 4-point. No turn at the waist. Okay, arms up. That would make for 6. Feet are on rockers. That makes for 8. Do we have swivel at the biceps? Slight swivel. 10. And then we have elbows. Man, are they just tight. Okay. 12. Wrists make 14. Head has very limited, barely 5 degrees of motion left, right. 1, 2, 4, elbow makes 6, wrists make 8. Wow, sweetheart. Hips make 10, barely at the knee makes 12, and feet make 14. 15 points is what I'm getting right there. You want some of me? You want some of me? Penguin is your basic standard figure. That's what I would determine him as. Look good on the shelf, but that's about it. As stiff as all of these joints are, oof, I would have to soak each one of them in a little hot water to get them unstiff. And then that way, if they're unstiff, man, you get some really good dynamic poses. I'm gonna have to get him. I've got a couple of 45s laying around, so he'll definitely get a 45. Don't know what else I'd give him there. Maybe a briefcase to carry Mr. Falcone's ill-gotten gains. There we go. Okay. So, there's the penguin. So for this figure, I'll probably give it a 2.5 out of a 5, just because it's very stiff and needs a lot of work. Okay. Next up, the Riddler. Card art on the back. Prototype. Let's see what we got, shall we? All right. Side the box. Again, another stand, another copy of the promo card. Okay. Okay. No real weapons per se, except for if you've seen the trailer, you might have seen this weapon. If not, I'm not going to spoil it for you. Suffice to say, it is essential to the plot. Let us see what we got with the Riddler. Riddler was all super stiff in there. The design of this Riddler, unique to the movie and unique to this universe, but okay. Glasses on the figure, and they are part of the sculpt. Over on camera 2. Okay. All right. Let's give it some points on the articulation, shall we? Okay. Rocker ball on the feet. That's 2. Double knees. Okay. It's 4. Hips. A little bit of barely for stance. Can we come up? No. With this rubbery coat, kind of prevents him being able to sit down, but okay. Still makes for 6. Shoulders is 8. Biceps 10. Elbows 12. Wrists 14. Head 360. No rocking, but okay. So that gives us a total of 15 points. 2, 4. Wait, do I see hip swivel? Nope, not a hip swivel. So 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, yeah, 15 points. All right. It's an accurate depiction of the character from the movie. He definitely looks like the Riddler as he's depicted in the film. He's got his question mark, the green survivor coat, fist there, and this hand is what's going to hold the tool. Not very well, but can get it in there somewhat like that. Yeah. Again, I would probably give this Riddler a 45 or something like that, make him a little bit more interesting, because that tool such and such is okay. Maybe even give him a AK-47, something just to make him a little bit more menacing on the shelf. Yeah, something just a little bit more menacing. But I mean, it's a good representation and likeness of the character. I know some collectors were like, ugh, that's it? This is all we get with the Riddler? It's not very dynamic. But if you see the movie, you'll totally understand why this works. You'll totally understand the whole methodology behind it. I think it's a pretty good looking figure. Playability, posability is what we rank on with these McFarlane figures. And for this one, I would probably definitely give it a 3. The rubbery coat still gets in the way a bit, but it's part of the whole design aesthetic, so you gotta kind of roll with it. All right. Next up, Catwoman. And I really love her promo card art. That promo card is just incredible. Really, really love it. Okay. Give her an open. The McFarlane stands are nice, but I'm going to be using my clear stands for these. The clear stands that you can purchase at ZLC Collectibles. I always like to give them a shout out whenever possible. Even though I didn't buy these figures from them, I definitely want to give them a shout out for those stands, because those stands are cool. So again, we have Catwoman's whip. And of course it has that nice barbed end on the end of it there, if you can see that. Yep. So Catwoman gets her whip, which is good, because if Catwoman didn't get her whip, I would be like, why? Again, hollow card and stand are inside the box. The McFarlane stands are okay, but I just much prefer the stands from ZLC Collectibles. I like those better. All right. Straighten her out a bit first, then we'll do our tests. Okay. All right. McFarlane seems to do a little bit better with the females, but let's see what we got anyway. Ball feet. It's 2. Double jointed knees. Yep. Oh yeah. That makes for 4. Do we have hip swivel? Nope. But we do have up down, so that'll make 6. We do have waist pivot. Nice. 7. Head is a complete 360. 8. Complete 360 shoulders. Makes 10. Do we have bicep swivel? We have bicep swivel. That makes 12. Nice. Elbow. And yes, it is double jointed elbow. Makes 14. And then wrists make for 16 total points. Nice. Oh, and we got toes, ladies and gentlemen. We have toes for a total of 18 points. Nice. Nice. I am digging this Catwoman. Nice, nice, nice. All right. Okay, as soon as you put the whip in hand, of course, it spreads those fingers. So I'm going to have to use a little bit of trickery. To get that to stay. Pull it back. Lean in. Twist slightly at the waist. Yep, that's where the stands I would buy from ZLC would come in handy, because those stands really work with all sorts of action figures. And I really like those stands. I wish I had my stands outright. Oh, I do actually. Borrow a stand here for one of my figures. Nice to have to put a whole bunch of them together. But I do have, and this is what I like about these stands, much more over the McFarlane's, is that, boom, not only can I get it to stand as so, but then, let's say I wanted her to get a nice, good dynamic pose. Say I wanted her to do one of her high kicks. Okay. Just plant stand. Voila. And those stands also work very well for the 4-inchers too, if you want to use those stands for the 4-inchers. Of course, the 4-inchers aren't as dynamic as the McFarlane's or your Migos or your NECAs or your Mezcos, but yeah, stands are freaking awesome. It's too freaking cool. Okay, we'll leave Catwoman out so that we can get to our last one in the bunch. And that will be the Batman. Card product shot. Shot there. See, stand is working perfectly. She hasn't fallen over yet. All right. All right, inside, as always, promo card and stand. Batman does come with his grappling gun, which is a good choice because, yay, Warner Brothers. You can't have a gun embargo on Batman. Batman needs to have at least his grappling gun. Okay. Let's try the other side. Now, there were talk in the McFarlane groups of how the figure had the wrong cape and or looks like I did get the wrong cape because it's not supposed to have the cowl pulled down. The cowl pulled down is actually for the unmasked Bruce Wayne. So as you can see there, I've got the wrong cowl, and this was ordered directly from Target. Most of the ones that had the wrong cape were coming from Amazon, but I've got one with the wrong cape because it's got the cowl pulled down. What it's supposed to do is not have that cowl pulled down because it looks redundant. Batman has a cowl on and has a cowl pulled down on the back of his head. Yeah, nope, don't think so. The torso is on right. That was another mistake they had made of putting the torso on upside down, which was like, well, that's gonna suck. But no, I've got a right torso, just wrong cape on my version. So I will probably be looking for the right one. Okay, let's do a little looky-see here. And first, the grappling gun, like so. Camera 2. Backside, camera 1. Upside down to show you it's got a peg in it, which is what enables it to stay held in Batman's open hand, which when you see the actual movie, you'll understand why his hand is open and not in a gun grasp, because it all works, trust me. All right, let's counter off. Feet, of course. We've got toes. Well, we got one toe. That's odd. We've got one toe, not two toes. Although that does look like two toes. It's just very stiff. Wow, very stiff. Okay, we'll count that still as 2. Rocker ball, 2 more makes 4. Okay. Double jointed knees. Double jointed knees. Okay. 6. Balls at hips. Make for 8. Torso twist. Okay, torso twist. That makes for 9. Head without that cowl in the way. Still goes all the way around 360. That's 10. The shoulders count, but because of the pads that are here underneath the cape, as you try to raise it up, they push the arms back down. Kind of a little bit of a design flaw there, I would think. They should have been more molded and then broken into the arms somehow. That would have made more sense, but okay. Count it off, that'll be 12. Do we have biceps? No, we do not have biceps. We do have elbows, so that'll make 14. And then we have wrists. So then we've got 16 total. It's kind of sad that there aren't any biceps on these, but I guess when you look at the actual design, it's like, well, it wasn't going to work with this pad in there like that for his armor at the top. So that's a choice. Oh man, that cape. It's just the wrong cape. Wow. So you could either cut that off, or if you could dunk it in hot water, remove it, and probably just replace it with a cloth cape. The sculpted cape is nice, but ugh, when the factory screwed up and put the wrong cape on, that doesn't help. All right, so let's see if we can get Batman to stand. Gonna make it look like he's gonna fire his rope gun at Selena. So We'll come back. Come get embraced. Yep. All right. Yeah, without a stand, it's going to be a little difficult. Just a little difficult, but not too bad. Not too bad. Selena has the best articulation and the best posability out of all 4 figures in the line. I'd probably give Batman, I'd give Batman a 3, maybe a 3.5. He's got better than Penguin and Riddler because at least he's got his abs, where you can do the ab twist. That would help with posability. Not having thigh swivel and not having bicep swivel limits him somewhat. This heavy cape also limits him as well. It's glued in the back down there, so your hot water is what's going to be needed to get it off. I would replace it with a cloth cape, just because cloth cape would definitely give it more posability. There's some awesome cloth cape manufacturers on Etsy and other places, so that would go a long way as well. And for now, I'm going to sit him back in there. Do a little research on the whole bad cape thing. See what's being done about that. All right. Sorry, I'm in love with Catwoman, so she's going to stick around for a little bit. Last is the Bat Cycle. Let's take a look at it. Box shot of Batman riding the Bat Cycle on the back. And that, of course, is the trading card that's inside the box. Inside the box, you get a replacement hand for Batman. Right there, see it there on camera 2. And over here on camera 1, which enables you to swap out Batman's hand so he'll be able to grip an actual Bat Cycle. You've got a stand for it, stand it on, and the cycle itself. I'm not going to take the cycle out of the box because I haven't cleared space yet for where I'm going to display it, but we can still go over. The cycle has incredible amounts of detail. I do like the way that the pipes are airbrushed there, as you can see. Very nice detailing. Very nice. And for a $30 motorcycle, I have to give it to them. This is really nice. The tires, of course, good in rubber plastic. Seat is hard molded plastic. Has its gas tank. And the bars are a bit rubbery, so that's rubbery plastic, but they do rock and move. Camera 2 for the wind there. Camera 1. So I am digging this motorcycle. I can't wait to clear space and get it out for display and get Batman on it. But I am definitely loving this complete set. This complete set was a very good score, and I definitely would give this cycle, just as is, I would give this cycle definitely a 5 out of 5. It's one of the better vehicles I've seen in a while. I really like this cycle. And I can't wait to get it out and fully display it. So we have the cycle, we have almost all of Batman's Rogues Gallery, with the exception of the Joker. Of course, we've got Riddler, Penguin, and Catwoman. And we have the Batman. Final thoughts. Bat Cycle is definitely worth the price. I kind of balked on it at first when it was announced it was going to be 30 bucks, but I mean, that's very nicely detailed. I'm loving that cycle. I'm loving all the detail that they put into it with the airbrushing on the pipes, the design work of the engine, the quality of the plastic. Loving it. Catwoman, top figure in the line, most articulation, most posability. She is definitely a solid 4 out of 5. But the only thing that I might change on her, if she had thigh swivel, she would definitely be awesome. But yeah, a solid 4 out of 5 easily. Batman, I'm going to give also a 3.5 to 4. Quality control on the cape is the major concern there. No thigh swivel. And that heavy weighted rubber cape makes him hard to pose and stand without a stand. I would rather preferred him to have a cloth cape. So, the Penguin and the Riddler, both are equal. Definitely both are going to be much lower in scale. The Penguin is a 2.5 out of 5, and the Riddler barely squeaks at a 3 just because his coat isn't as obstructing as the Penguin's coat is. And it could have been simple things to do. A cut at the waist, separating the coat would have at least labeled it to give him back a waist turn, which would have worked really well for the figure and would have given him a little bit more posability. Same with the Riddler. A nice cut at the waist would have given him more posability too. Both are very limited in their posability. And their accessories, not very well. And their accessories, Penguin. Spin Masters gave their Penguin an umbrella. You know, at exactly 4 inches. An umbrella for the Penguin would have been great. For the Riddler, something more than just the tool that goes with the mystery. Because the Riddler does use a gun in the movie, so definitely a gun would have been great. So, outside of that, with the gun embargo that, of course, Warner Brothers puts on all the DC figures, that doesn't help. But for this movie, the Batman 2022, the McFarlane line of figures from McFarlane Toys. This is the complete set. Batman, Catwoman, Penguin, and the Riddler. 4 figures. Plus the Bat Cycle. I think it's a worthwhile purchase. I think definitely, I'm definitely digging the figures overall. And for display on my shelves, they're going to look great. I'm going to, of course, have to use these stands, these wonderful stands that I get from ZLC Collectibles. That's where you can get your figure stands at. Helps you with your posability, helps you with them. They're much better than just sticking them on the McFarlane black disc stands. I just enable them just to stand stock steel. You get more dynamic posability with these stands. All right, that's our show for today. That's our review of the McFarlane Batman line of figures. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. This is, of course, the second part of the episode. If you haven't watched the first part, which reviews all of the Spin Master toys that was released for the Batman 2022, be sure to check that out as well. And as always, I'm your host, Terry J. Until next time.